the echo in your brain. You know you can't sustain the misconceptions in your mind. One day you'll see for sure what all of this was for. Then you can leave it all behind. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. In the beginning was found this thing that cannot speak. It's how we all truly learn. It's only ever attained when one lets go of fear. So don't let wisdom pass you by. The journey begins. I am the one, yeah, that will show the proof. I am the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. I am the whispers of the logic in your mind. I am an agent of the Logos. It was there all along. How could I never have seen this thing that's danced all around? It wasn't until I left behind the things I believed that I could see things so clear. The journey begins. Become the one, yeah, that will show the proof. Become the one, yeah, that is searching for the truth. Become the whispers of the logic in their minds. Become an agent of the Logos. Become an agent of the Logos. We are the agents of the Logos.
And we are live. Welcome everybody. This is 2023. Welcome to 2023. We did do model affliction, and today's logic day. Well, 2023. There we go. Just a minute. I'll be back in a bit.
Like say that 2023 is the number for the skull and bones, 322, in case anybody didn't put that together.
I'm gonna have to call a stretch.
You mean skull and bones? This
Yeah,
society?
322. Yeah.
You mean 322 is not 2023? Redmond, is that what you're trying to tell me?
Nope, not me. That's all John. I'm not going there. I'm out in the yard. I don't have the tinfoil hat on right now.
This is not that.
Not what?
Whatever. You don't want to talk.
2023 is going to be lit. That's what I can say. I think.
Be lit?
Yeah, it's lit.
What do you mean?
Lit on fire.
Oh, okay.
Come on, John, get with the lingo. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great 2023, personally.
After what we've been through, it's hard to know what to expect.
It was a great 2022, I think. I think it's going to be even better.
I think everything went according to plan.
I think you're right about that.
It went how it was supposed to go.
A lot of Logos in 2022. Thank you, Buster, for bringing a lot of that.
Yeah, it did seem like a lot of the Logos was bad.
Yep, seemed like
It was good.
every other day there for a while. There was some new Logos being dropped.
Yeah, I'm like you. I think 2023 is going to be even better.
Oh God. Talking about relativity now?
Nuh-uh, who's talking about relativity?
Well, he said it's going to be better. Relative to what?
Relative to
Just
2022.
yeah.
The Logos is making a return, man.
I'm all for that.
At least in our little teeny tiny corner of the internet.
Yeah, we do here for sure.
But there's some upheaval happening in the world today, looks like. We talked about earlier about peak athletes going down. We talked about some other stuff, interesting stuff today. Talked about is it possible to get potential energy from the air? What might that?
I would have to say
might
that's
that look like? Hey,
possible.
Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Happy New Year, Rob.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Although I think the New Year starts in March, to be honest, but whatever.
Does
I'm
it?
on board with that.
All right. Why does he want to
It
share
is
why?
what it is.
This is just
Well,
invention.
yeah. The only reason I say that is because September, the month that I was born in, is technically, they call it the 9th month, but Sep is the 7th number in French. So where did the numbers come from? Because October is also an 8.
Deck for December is 10.
November 8, 9, and December 10. But they added 2 new, I think July. It was Caesar.
Right.
This is
Julius,
his.
correct.
And another one, I am not August. Yes. So his
August.
Augustus.
his
Augustus.
Augustus. Yes. So 2. And by the way, New Year, it's 1st of January. It is just formal replacement of one of the councils. There were 2 councils in the Roman Republic, and they rotated every year. So there were elections every year for one of the councils, and one was replaced, and he started his office in January the 1st. So this is the date. That's why we are celebrating beginning of the year, because it was beginning of the let's say office, his office. Just it.
It's pretty cool paper.
Yeah, I never knew where those. I knew September had something to do with 7, October 8, November 9, December.
It used to be, Rob's right,
10.
like they used to celebrate the first of the year at spring, because that's when everything's new. Yeah.
Right.
So the months used to be like the January, what is it? However many months, the 2 months, like they just weren't there because it was winter. It was everything was dead. And then the celebrate, the New Year was in spring. And then when that, like what paper was saying, they added those months in.
Yes, 2 months. Most of them, January is from Janus or Janus, this two-faced god, and March.
Two-faced.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, it is depicted
Yes.
as such. And February, I cannot remember. March, of course, this is Mars, so god of war. And April, I cannot remember also. Yes, that's what I remember from my, let's say, classic education.
Okay, I'm back. All good. Thanks for filling for us, guys. Yeah. Carry on. Anything? What were we talking about? What did I miss?
Well, we were just talking about that many of us think that 2023 is going to be more logos than we can imagine, and we had a lot in 2022. So happy New Year to everybody on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
And then we got into a discussion because Rob said he considers New Year to be in March with spring. I think Benny in the live chat and Discord agrees with that. I think a couple other people agree with that.
I agree with that.
And then we found out from paper that January means two-faced, which does not surprise me in the least.
Oh.
Janus, the two-faced.
So,
Oh, yeah.
do we have a new convention then?
Say again, Rob?
I said, do we have a new convention then?
Maybe
Can
so.
we just start saying Happy New Year March 1st?
Is it March 1st or is it March 22nd?
Oh, shit, I don't know.
I think you're taking time on as a concept, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Must be, right?
Adding time to the equation when it just is.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. Accustoming ourselves to something that, don't know, the conventions of others.
That's why I like to just live every day as if it's a new day.
Yeah,
I don't really care
for every day.
What day it is. Yeah, today it's a new day. Let's just get everything done that I need to get done today, and I'll be happy.
Exactly right. Yesterday's in the past, nothing you can do about it. So today's a new day.
There's
Great
only
attitude,
always
Rob.
the present. There's nothing but the present.
It's a fact.
All right.
Although some people, seems to me, Bev, you might agree with this. Some people like to live in the past for some. I don't know why.
Oh God, yes.
And
That breeds depression.
yeah, and an unreal present. right, a paracosm that they've built up.
Yeah. Another one of those Logos words that came to us. Thank you. I think that was Mike Jones, right?
That was Mike Jones, the one. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, shout out Mike Jones.
Shout out Mike Jones. Happy New Year, Mike.
Yeah.
Yep, Mike.
I was hoping to actually change the subject.
Go on.
Well, we here at On the Level server like to make one claim, and that is level is horizontal. And we say we've got we just let me start with this one.
Yeah.
We say we have a proof for it. Nobody accepts that on either side because apparently celestial navigation proves that level is horizontal. I was listening to the after show today on the FED Superhero Show, and Brian's logic says that celestial navigation with two verticals proves that level is horizontal.
Wow, that's good. It's sort of what we're going over today. But
fantastic.
I think Brian's logic has got his logic's got all mixed up, and he
But
started. I don't know. I don't know what's
he's
going on,
mixing.
to be honest. Go on.
He put together a little presentation on the after show, and conflated surveying with celestial navigation, and somehow bringing the two together proves that level is horizontal.
Surveying with the lights in the sky.
I'd have to go back and play it again for myself, and then I could verbatim say what he said. But I got a couple of jobs right now, but I will get that up, and I will listen to it and play it or say it verbatim what he said. So I'll be back shortly.
So
Maybe half an hour, or an hour or so.
we had geodetic surveyors, and now we have stellar surveyors. Great.
Astronomic surveyors, like basically astronomers with telescopes looking at the lights in the sky, a bit like Wally. Those type of surveyors, the ones that look at the lights in the sky and imagine things, a bit like we're going to go over tonight.
My favorite still to this day was the I forgot who brought it, but the egocentric surveying.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing now. That's where these angles are surveyed, the egocentric surveying. And as long as you keep them separate, as long as you keep them in their own buildings, don't mention the link together, then you can do that. But I mean, again, as far as I see this, everybody, the Flat Earth Society is playing its cause now, because what we're doing tonight is the relationship between vertical and horizontal, mainly for blue marble science. But of course, Flat Earth superheroes will get confused that it's about them. This one is not about them. This is about blue marble science claims for the blue marble scientific method tonight. The logic, the fallacies. We can deal with the fallacy of the gazing at the lights in the sky and imagining things derived from them another time. Tonight, we're going to go over. Well, I say go over. We'll do the advanced simplicity version of what Blue Marble likes to call reciprocal zenith angles. Now, I should have prepared this a little bit better, but if you just give me a second while I go back to look at this, unless... Oh, no, there we go. Now this is debate rules and there we go. This is terms of a debate that Blue Marble, when Blue Marble was dictating a debate that he particularly wanted. These are what we have to go from. Oh, this looks a bit small. I don't know whether you guys are going to be able to see that, or whether I can maybe might have to just blow that one up a bit, the particular bit that we want to talk about. Let me just blow this up. number 3, if anybody can see on the.
I can read it.
You read number 3. Well, I'm going to blow it up now, so
I'm just saying I can see it on Discord.
hopefully you can. There you go. That's much better. So this is number 3 from Blue Marble Science. Remember, this particular thing is directed specifically at Blue Marble Science and the Blue Marble scientists. Blue Marble did a video in the debate. Now, it says here the terms, because one of the things that we like to do within our framework of how we derive our logic is to start off with the law of identity. Now, you may have heard of the terms and the term coming to terms. Well, that comes from the understanding that you are coming to understand the meanings of the words. So the term is the thing that you're talking about. It's the understanding that you both understand the terms that you are dealing with. There's a lot of legal jargon wrapped up within contracts and stuff within the terms, but for this specific understanding, the term is the thing that you are talking about. And this is Blue Marble laying down the terms that he understands. And this one says the terms vertical, plumb, or zenith shall be considered synonymous and shall indicate the direction of the gravity vector. So that's vertical, plumb, or zenith shall be considered synonymous, right? So let's take that. These are synonymous, which means they're the same. They're all just sort of words that are the same meaning.
Interchangeable.
Yeah.
Does zenith have to be vertical though, Bev?
Well, hey, this is Blue Marble and the Blue Marble's terms, right? Don't want to get into a discussion about what we think about them. This is, for now, Blue Marble Science. This is what Blue Marble Science considers. Now, we had a guy in last night who wanted to remove gravity from this list, the 4, as we'll say, because he added a number to it. But I mean, we'll go over this, what it exactly means, right? The terms vertical, plumb, or zenith shall be considered synonymous and shall indicate the direction of the gravity vector. Right, so the gravity vector, according to Blue Marble Science, is synonymous with vertical, plumb, or zenith. Now, as John quite rightly said, zenith is a part of a zenith-nadir relationship. There's 2, but strictly speaking, the zenith is up, above your head, and that's above your head, above my head, above everybody's head. It's zenith. That's what it means. Now, the nadir is below your feet. That's your feet. You have a zenith above your head and the nadir below your feet. So the gravity vector is up, well, synonymous with the vertical, upwards part of the vertical, which is the zenith. But I would say Blue Marble Science, I think he means as vertical. Vertical has an up and a down of a straight line. A zenith nadir has an up and a down of a straight line. Plumb is vertical, which is an up and a down. The weights at the bottom, but the strings at the top.
Gravity vector means down
Mm.
only.
Well, I don't know.
Sorry.
It's synonymous.
This is not clear. I would say that this is
These are Blue Marble's terms that he wanted to come to.
gravity, and he's saying vector. Vector is one direction. This is not up and down.
Well,
Vector
again,
means
we
one of them.
don't forget we are dealing with a Blue Marble scientist here, and if they don't have contradictions with an up and a down, then you're not going to get very far. So again, I'll point out, quite rightly, like they've said, like John said, isn't zenith up? And quite rightly, as paper says, the vector of gravity is considered to be down.
Yes, so plumb would be down, but zenith up.
Yeah, and vertical is both.
Yes.
Vertical is just a straight line. So there appears to be a slight contradiction. But if you want us to think that what you call gravity has a vector, and that vector is a straight line, then that straight line can be synonymous with the zenith, nadir, vertical, and plumb. Same thing. This is the way I consider gravity now, since Blue Marble helped me along with the understanding of how Blue Marble scientists actually consider gravity to be. It's just a straight line with an up and down. The gravity vector, like Blue Marble appears to think, has an up and a down, which is the same as vertical, which Blue Marble says they're synonymous. So, and I think in everybody's understanding, vertical is what you imagine when anybody talks about this gravity that is best described as a vertical or a plumb, and the zenith and the nadir is just a bit of a technical. It's mainly an astronomical thing for the lights in the sky, not really something that many people would have heard of, but everybody's heard of vertical. Everybody knows of plumb. So when Blue Marble, and even when you talk about gravity, the very descriptor of that would be a plumb bob, a weight on the end of a string, depicting a vertical reference frame that you can rely on within building, within construction. And did I notice Blue Marble? I don't want to be missing anything that Blue Marble says. Did you forget you rejected all of that, Bev? Why are you talking about something that wasn't used? Oh no, this is just the terms, Blue. When we start, it helps us to have a firm understanding of what we're using for terms. And as everybody can see, all of these things are considered a straight line. Vertical, plumb, zenith, nadir, and even the vector of gravity. You forget about putting a little arrow on one end of it, but you could just put an arrow on both ends of it. I mean, why not? It's just a straight line. The road up is the road down. Same thing within geometric terms, within logical terms.
Without the plumb line, could you construct a horizontal to the gravity vector?
You can construct a horizontal with a level. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
but
need a plumb.
just using their gravity vector, could you like put a square up against that gravity vector and draw a line horizontal to that gravity vector?
Well,
It doesn't exist in reality.
perpendicular to vertical is horizontal.
Correct. But how do you identify the gravity vector without a plumb line? I mean, just standing on
So
its
it's
own,
just-
it doesn't
again,
exist.
Well, if you want to say, right, like Blue Marble does, that the gravity vector is plumb and plumb is vertical, then why are you talking about something that you get confused about? Why not just talk about plumb and vertical?
Well, that's exactly my point. Why is gravity vector even there?
Blue says none of this was used. Blue, are you saying that this isn't something that you think, or are you just trying to confuse the issue? All I'm pointing out here is that when we come to terms at the beginning of where we start off from, the understanding that we're dealing with here is a straight line. Very simple to see. And the straight line that you're talking about is a vertical. That's it. That's how simple this is.
And your straight line's not a circle.
Well, this is just a vertical for the terms of understanding what a vertical is. Now, everybody knows, because this is where we're going, Blue Marble and the Blue Marble scientists, I think they'd agree too, that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. We didn't come to terms. Blue Marble's now saying he didn't come to terms. Blue Marble now says that this statement that he wrote, the terms vertical, plumb, or zenith, shall be considered synonymous, isn't what he was saying. Seems to be very confusing. But this is where we're starting off, Blue. Would you like to change any of these things before we go on for what you want to go with? Because I'm just pointing out here that they're all the same. Everybody knows all of these things are the same thing. We are just talking about a straight line, aren't we? I mean, even your vector of gravity, although you've missed putting an arrow on the top of it, having it going up and down, that may be the only thing. But like Wiggles removed gravity from this list, but I guess you could still call zenith, nadir, plumb, and vertical, they're synonymous, right?
I would say, in addition to that, that generally in terms of debate, it shouldn't be that questionable terms are fixed beforehand if they are in question.
Mm-hmm.
If meaning of them is in question, it shouldn't be as a condition of debate, because it doesn't make any sense.
Blue's now saying that I'm trying to pretend that you agreed with what I said. Yes, Blue, these are the terms. I fully understand that vertical, plumb, and zenith, nadir are exactly the same thing. There's no difference. They're all the same, as you say, synonymous. The very same thing. And even if you want to talk in your gravity vector, I'd throw that in. That straight line would fit on exactly the same as a vertical, a plumb bob, or a zenith and nadir. In fact, it would be the same as a plumb bob in practical reality. That's how you demonstrate. You get a plumb bob and you wouldn't let it swing. You'd wait until it's not. You'd wait until all of the motion stops and there is no motion. And then you could say, that is vertical. I'd say that. And I guess you could say gravity too. Hey presto, it's the same as gravity. It's a blue marble. Now, I mean, this is the blue marble scientific method in action. He says, show us your alternate proposed wording, Bev. You flatly refuse to agree with anything I proposed, and you know it, Bev. Well, no, Blue, I say I'm going along with this. At no point have I ever disagreed with vertical plumb or zenith and nadir being synonymous. And I would go along as so far as to say, I understand that you add in gravity as though it's somehow different. But it's the same thing. It's just another word for vertical. In my eyes, it's no different than vertical. No different at all, except you just only want to put an arrow at the bottom bit and go this way. Whereas I'd say a vertical it's like the line is described as vertical. It has two different opposing directions. It's a straight line. So very, very simple stuff. We are just talking about a straight line. And geometrically, sorry, go on.
If you put the weighted end of the plumb bob in your hand and just let the string hang, would gravity form plumb?
With the string?
Just the string, yeah. And the weighted end in your hand.
Well, yeah. It would work. It would work much better the other way around, but
but I'm saying you'll. I don't think you could ever get perfectly plumb with the weighted end in your hand. So how does gravity come into play? It should hold it perpendicular to the horizontal, right? And if you get a little breeze, that's going to blow. Or it's probably going to fluctuate anyways. It will probably always constantly move unless you leave it hanging for hours, possibly in a room with no airflow. But gravity should hold it straight down. If he's saying it's the same thing.
John, just put it in a tube with just a string in a tube.
I don't know if it's a valid point or not. I just wanted to put that out there. I don't think gravity should be included in those conditions at all, in my opinion.
Well, Blue Marble wanted to add it in. And I would say that if you wanted to show somebody what you would imagine gravity to be, you would show them a plumb bob. Wouldn't you?
I wouldn't.
Would you not?
Not to identify gravity, no.
Oh. I'd say, I would go along with it. It's just vertical.
Just vertical.
It's just vertical. And how would you demonstrate vertical to somebody? The fact that somebody calls it a different word is completely irrelevant.
Yeah, but the word means weight. It doesn't mean perpendicular.
Gravitas means weight, I would say.
Yes, gravitas. Yes, so gravity. Yeah. This is word from Latin strictly. So it is weight, just weight. In first literal meaning.
So the weight would be the plumb bob.
Correct.
And the perpendicular, anything hanging by a straight line. That's the perpendicular, right? The plumb bob. I'm sure Blue Marble would have to agree with that. That, if we're talking about any of these things, they're all synonymous. That's Blue Marble's terms. The terms of the Blue Marble scientists. Now, everybody, if you're ever talking to a Blue Marble scientist, this is one of the things that you can come to an agreement with them about. That this statement that vertical is what you're starting off with, because that gives you a tie to the geometric, which takes us to the next statement. So once we've sorted that vertical is what we're talking about, Blue Marble puts vertical first within that list. So that's the most common thing that everybody understands what vertical is. So that's what we'll be dealing with as we go forward within our advanced simplicity understanding. Take it back to everybody can understand the vertical. That's where we start off from. Okay, everybody's with us that we're just talking about a straight line, a vertical. And now this has come from the Blue Marble scientists. And another thing that we know, because of our understanding of geometry, particularly Euclidean geometry, well, the foundation of mathematics, if you want to go so far as that, and the understanding of a straight line and the relationship that a straight line has, let's say, with itself. Because once you have a straight line, then you can have a perpendicular. But the perpendicular is constructed geometrically from the initial straight line, the starting 2 points. That's all you require in order for you to be able to make a perpendicular to that straight line. Now, the way that you do that, you find an intersection at the midpoint. Yeah, sorry, Mrs. just came in. So we have a perpendicular. The relationship of the perpendicular comes from the straight line. And everybody knows that a straight line has a perpendicular. And the relationship between the vertical, the perpendicular to the vertical, as everybody knows, is horizontal. And this is the next point, the next port of call within the logical steps of understanding this straight line relationship that we've got. Is Blue Marble doing deals? What's going on? RH. Jolly good. Is Blue Marble doing deals within my chat with people to go live at the minute? Nice work, Blue. Classy. I like it. Doing deals. Go and get live. Go and start your live show. Off you go. Right. So we've got two straight lines. We've got a vertical. And now, because we have a vertical, we have a full understanding of a perpendicular that goes with the vertical. Should I get onto the board for this bit now? Let me just put this. Oh. Oh, my virtual webcam's gone off, so I can't switch the cam on at the minute. Stupid thing. Let me see if I can. I don't know whether you guys are going live. Did that all stop then? When people... Administrator. Right. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to go on my... go on the whiteboard, unfortunately. I'll have to sort that out tomorrow. Is Saragaki here?
No, I can get him if anything.
Well, he's got the perpendicular. I just need a picture or something that I can put up on screen. That then we can show everybody how this relationship works. It would have been much better if I could have get my screen on. But unfortunately, I don't know what I'd do. Minister and everything. That's unfortunate. It's because my PC has done an update for the beginning of this year. Oh, wait a minute. You guys can see it, can't you? Just you guys won't be able to see it. Let's see if I can... There you go. How about that? There you go. You guys can see that, can you? There we go.
Yes, we can.
It's not coming through my video camera, but
I see the whiteboard.
okay. Happy New Year, everyone. Right, see this. Now, this is what's commonly known as the vertical, and this is what's commonly known as the horizontal. Now, these two have a relationship of perpendicular. This line is perpendicular to this line. This line is perpendicular to this line. This one's a horizontal, and this one's a vertical. This one's a straight line. And this one's also a straight line. Now, this is when we've been doing this, we've been talking about what we call a horizontal wally. Now, that requires... Let's see if I put that over there. So this is vertical, and we'll call this... Well, that's a bit bright, isn't it? We'll call this here A. And that's at this point, right at the cross section of that. And then we'll have this other point here. And then we'll call that B. So we've been saying about the horizontal line. Can you orientate this line from here to here horizontally? And obviously, the answer is, of course. That's a horizontal line already, and you can put A on it and you can put B on it. That makes that a straight line. Now, this is a vertical, and this is a horizontal. This water level here, from here to here, is also establishing a horizontal. So you can see the relationship of this line to the water level within here. They're similar. I'd say horizontal. So what we've done is we've got 2 points, A and B, and we've orientated them horizontally. Switch this off. So point there, A, point there, B. Now, everybody knows that this is a straight line. You can give this straight line a unit value of 1. Or you could scale it and call it 100 miles. it being a straight line, there's zero difference. Whether you say it's length 1, or you say that length 1 represents 100 miles. It would make no difference. But you could still orientate this line, I would say, horizontally, no matter how long it is. It's unscalable. And the problem that comes when blue marble or any blue marble scientist that you're talking to about any of this shows that this line being able to orientate horizontally means that once we do this, along this straight line here at point A, we have a perpendicular to this horizontal. And everybody knows that's called a vertical. Here we have another plumb bob that is also orientated vertically. And as you can see, the horizontal and the vertical together are perpendicular. The perpendicular at this end is a plumb bob, establishing a vertical. And this perpendicular here is a plumb bob. Well, it's vertical. Laser. And they're both perpendicular. In fact, every vertical along this line here will always be perpendicular to the horizontal. That's the way it is. Now, blue marble scientists will try and tell you that the length of this line changes the relationship between vertical and horizontal by measuring angles somehow. Somebody's told a blue marble scientist that the angle here and the angle here can add up to be more than 180 degrees. When with respect to a vertical and a vertical. And a vertical. So, as you can see, the vertical at that end is perpendicular to the horizontal at here also. There's no difference between the relationship between the vertical and the horizontal here and the relationship of the vertical and the horizontal over here. They're both perpendicular. This line here is a horizontal. Like I need some new batteries in my laser level. Now, blue marble scientists don't like this geometric fact. There's something wrong with it. I don't know whether there's something wrong with the vertical or the perpendicular to it, the horizontal. But as you can see, this water level that goes from here to here, that hasn't changed at all. And the vertical, the plumb bobs that occur, they've got nothing to do with this water level. Nothing at all. So Blue Marble Science has made a video stating that what I've told you today about perpendicularity between the vertical and the horizontal doesn't actually take place. Something happens when you lengthen the horizontal in the Blue Marble scientific community to the perpendicular. Now, I would say that's impossible, but they're very committed to their scientific model. They have very much faith, like a massive amounts of faith in the fact that from here to here, you can't establish a horizontal. Like Blue Marble Science would even have a problem with you being able to say that this line here, that we'll call a unit value 1, that is possible within the framework of any of this. You can't make it 1 mile from there to there and say that horizontal being a straight line. They have a certain amount of numbers that have to come in and confuse this straight line. So is everybody okay with that, or was that a bit too simple for people to understand? Are people all right with the fact that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular? So if you have a horizontal, every one of the perpendiculars, no matter where you would have it, if you have a horizontal line going from there to there, that at this point, the perpendicular to that horizontal, well, that would be vertical perpendicular to the horizontal. And the horizontal goes to here, and perpendicular to that, again, it's perpendicular. There's a 90 degrees there, and a 90 degrees there. Let's draw it in. Right. So there's the straight line. Now, would everybody be okay with calling that a horizontal in the chat?
From A to B?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So if we were to put, I mean, I'm doing this for purposes here, I would draw it geometrically, but draw a circle on it. But let's say we'll put that on there. You go. Now, we'll just use the square. Set square. It's a triangle. It's a triangle. It's an isosceles triangle. But this one here is 90 degrees. So we call this a square, but it's an actual triangle. It's not an actual square. But what it enables us to do is to be able to put these these, you've seen these little square shapes here. That's terrible, isn't it? There you go. That means these are right angles. You could also do that to show that all right angles are equal and they're all perpendicular to each other. So within geometry, at least, if this line here were to be horizontal, then perpendicular here would be called vertical, and the perpendicular here would also be called vertical. Now, can anybody see any reason for this relationship here and this relationship here of these lines to change if this line here were to be lengthened?
If horizontal is a straight line, it cannot happen.
Never change.
So the entire conversation that needs to be had is a conversation about this straight line here. Not this one, but everybody agrees that vertical is definitely a straight line. And everybody understands that, at least within geometry, that this being a straight line, there is a perpendicular. And this also here is a straight line and there is a perpendicular. But just by the understanding of this straight line, you could make perpendicular to this straight line geometrically, draw that over to there, establish a horizontal, and then make a perpendicular here. Now, when I say make a perpendicular, you could just hang a plumb bob. If you know that this line here is horizontal, then a plumb bob here, perpendicular to the horizontal, and a plumb bob here, perpendicular to the horizontal. There is no change to the geometric understanding of this straight line relationship. And we got, but somebody keep us up to date with Blue Marble if he's asking some ridiculous fucking questions that we can obviously try and help them answer. We're talking about geometry, Blue Marble Science. For any Blue Marble scientists out there, this is purely geometric around the straight line. They are questions and things that you're going to have to deal with. You can't just dismiss these things because these are so basic concepts. That if this horizontal line here can be made, then at any point along it you could hang a plumb bob and you could rest assured that that plumb bob would be perpendicular to the horizontal, because you know the geometric understanding of vertical and horizontal. Blue Marble's saying that's not what you measure. Jolly good. Which of the verticals and the relationship of perpendicular would you like to change, Blue Marble Science, within this? Let me just write this on here. Horizontal, and then this one here is, this one here is vertical. Vertical. The vertical is perpendicular to horizontal here, as signified by the right angles. and the vertical is perpendicular to the horizontal over here too, geometrically. Now, blue marble science. I know you've got a video and you've made a video about, but how would you like to make this geometric understanding any different? This one, blue marble science, is a vertical, and you, by your terms that we went off at the beginning, it's perpendicular to horizontal. Vertical and plumb, they're no different. The only thing that I added, blue marble science, for any of the blue marble scientists in here, was a geometric understanding of the straight line and the relationship that that straight line has with its perpendicular. So geometrically, the vertical, being a straight line, has a perpendicular. That perpendicular we call horizontal. And then geometrically, anywhere along the horizontal, you can place a perpendicular, and knowing absolute certainty that the relationship between horizontal and vertical is this perpendicularity here with the right angles. That's a definite geometric fact. Nobody can get, you can't get away from that. You might have heard that triangles have 180 degrees, right? Now, I'll give you a little geometric understanding of why triangles have 180 degrees. This here we call a horizontal, and this here is a vertical. This is 90 degrees. We call it a right angle. But when you divide the circle up into 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 360 divided by 4, which gives you 90. We call this a right angle. And we know geometrically it's one of the axioms that all right angles are equal. This being a straight line has a perpendicular here and a perpendicular here. This 90 adds to this 90. This is one straight line. This is another straight line. And this is another straight line. That's 3 straight lines we have here. 2 verticals and 1 horizontal. And 90, 90. Which means that a triangle cannot be formed. Because a triangle has 3 straight lines. 1, 2, 3. But always has 180 degrees. But as you can see in this picture, 2 of the angles, this one and this one, add up together to make 180. 90 and 90 makes 180, which means that there's a 0 angle that you can place here to finish the triangle. If you were to tilt this in any way, or tilt this one, even by a fraction of a degree, then either this line here would meet this line, or this line here would meet this line, finishing a triangle on either side of this line. And that's why triangles always have 180 degrees. Because they have to have within themselves this angle, and another angle, either here or there, to finish off the 180 degrees. Vertical and horizontal shows you.
Hang on. So it's ridiculous to assert that a triangle can have more than 180 degrees.
Well, yeah, like you can see here, this is 90 and this is 90, so these add up to 180. If you had the rule that triangles can have more than 180 degrees, then you could theoretically finish this as a triangle. But I mean, I think people would understand that a right angle and a right angle needs a right angle and a right angle in order to finish the shape. I mean, you'd need another line to be able to enclose this space. Two straight lines cannot enclose a space. That's another one of the axioms that people have magicked away, just poof, gone.
If I can't even tell you how many times you've created a better picture in my head about how these things work. I love how you explain things, man. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. But like I say, this is advanced simplicity. This is the simplicity of logic.
Unless you have a model.
Yeah, Blue Marble says that the verticals intersect, but I mean, where? The perpendicular to horizontal. Blue, how do you possibly get around this? How do you change this?
There seems to be a bit of desperation in the chat, it seems to me.
Yeah. I mean,
They desperately don't want this to be true, and it's axiomatic. For those of you who haven't followed us in a while, what Bev just described with that tilting even a fraction of an inch would mean the triangle axiom. Many people have changed that to the fifth postulate in Euclid. But it is the triangle axiom.
Yeah, saying
it will form a triangle if those two verticals and the horizontal are, if the verticals are changed in any way, fraction of a degree, you will get a triangle. It may take a while to get there, but it will happen.
Towards the other angle. It has
Whichever
to. Yeah.
Yes, whichever
You go
way it
away,
is
dude.
tilted.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, whichever side of this line, these two angles come to less than 180. That is the side that the triangle will be formed. If you're just dealing with this straight line, straight line, straight line, three straight lines.
It is very simple.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we call this the triangle axiom, the 12th axiom in my Euclid book. This is geometry blue. As you know, this being this AB being the horizontal wally. That's where your problems lie. With your entire problem of the Blue Marble scientist relies on the relationship between this straight line and this straight line. Perpendicularity with these right angles. But I don't know how you get rid of it. Yeah, I'm just going to get back to the swap back to the Discord screen. Because now we did this quite a bit ago. We did this quite a bit ago within the formulation of logic when we all started with logic. This is something that Saragaki brought to us. It's been a part of the Discord chat for quite a while. It's been let's say, dismissed by a lot of people. But everybody, if you've been in the Discord chat, you will have definitely seen this. We had this discussion quite a bit. Now, this is what you call a perpendicular proof within mathematics. The only difference being that Saragaki has added vertical and horizontal to it. But I mean, as you can see, it's very similar to the drawing, the diagram that I just did on the whiteboard. But this has a few other things to go with it. He says perpendicular to the plane of the horizon or to a primary axis. Vertical. That's the definition within mathematics. Parallel to, in the plane of, or operating in a plane parallel to the horizon or to a baseline. Level, horizontal. Mathematically, geometrically. Vertical and horizontal. They're just definitions of those two words. And then you say, he's got, wrote here, given A, D, C, with D being the position of the angle, is a right angle. So A, D, C, right angle. A, F, E is also a right angle. So this line just extended from A to D to A to F to E. Right angle, perpendicular. CD, this one, CD, is parallel to EF. EF. This line here is, we got a bing bing. Who's doing that?
Yeah, John hot biking.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Didn't know.
Playing Pong.
No, I was deleting dialed numbers off my phone. I'm sorry.
CD.
He's trying to take my title.
CD is parallel to EF. Steps. And then he's got all of the steps here that you take in order to do this. If two lines are cut by a transversal and the corresponding angles are congruent, the lines are parallel. ADC is a right angle, ADC. AFE is a right angle, AFE. Hence, ADC equals AFE. They're the same. Right angles, right angles. The law of identity. A right angle is the same as a right angle. All right angles are equal. It's an axiom within Euclidean geometry. Corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal, one interior and one exterior to the lines, but not adjacent. CD and AB intersect at point D. So that's CD and AB. They intersect at a point D. That's a given. EF and AB intersect at point F. That's a given. Hence, the angle ADC and AFE are corresponding angles between CD and EF. Hence, CD is parallel to EF. Geometrically.
Must be.
That's it. That's geometrically proven. The perpendicular relationship of the lines CD, EF, and AB. those two lines are perpendicular to the other line. Now, the understanding of these lines being perpendicular, one's vertical and the other one's horizontal. This vertical is perpendicular to this horizontal, and this vertical is perpendicular to this very same horizontal. The fact that there are two lines that are perpendicular to the horizontal show quite clearly with the geometric proof. I'd like to thank Saragaki for this, but it's just a mathematical proof with the understanding that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. Sort of proves that the verticals, at least within this geometric proof, are parallel, obviously. So in order for you or anybody or any blue marble scientist to be able to state that they're not parallel, you would have to. You would basically be forced into denying this entire mathematical proof right here. And I can't imagine being put in a position to have to deny a mathematical proof. Can you imagine somebody ending up being in the position where the only way forward for them is to literally deny a well-established mathematical proof? I know there's no way around it. I know that's why the front line of the people that are trying to be the misologists, they're not very bright. I hate to say it, Blue, but yeah, you're not very bright. You've allowed yourself to be in a position which is, well, I don't know. Has anybody else got any words for the position that Blue Marble is now in after making his video? I mean, I don't want to go through too far with Blue's video, but it's called Reciprocal Zenith Angles. You might want to go back and have a look at it again. See what the Blue Marble scientist claims are, with a firm understanding of perpendicularity within geometry, talking about straight lines. What's everyone think about that? Can we make it any more simple than to state vertical and horizontal are perpendicular? Now, the understanding of perpendicular, well, that's a Euclidean geometric definition. I will just, I'll get that for you, just so. I'll get, you just get this in the Euclid folder. Definition 10. Well, this is one of my favorite definitions, because I think this is, I mean, it's not a coincidence that Saragaki used the perpendicular as a proof, because that's one step on, but it solidifies the proof of a straight line. The only way you can have a perpendicular is to have a straight line. And that's because of this. It states, when a straight line standing on another straight line makes the adjacent angles equal to one another, each of the angles is called a right angle, and the straight line which stands upon the other is called a perpendicular to it. So that very relationship there is between straight lines, and the relationship that these straight lines have with each other is called perpendicular when referring one straight line to another, where the angles on either side are equal to one another. That's called a right angle, obviously. Blue Marble says I'm not very bright by thinking. How tragic that you've had your fantasy destroyed by a guy that isn't very bright. I don't.
Hang on, Bev. Hang on.
You've
Can I
not
say something?
destroyed
Hang on.
any
Can I say
fantasy,
something?
Blue, huh?
Yeah.
No.
The fantasy is a spinning ball flying through a vacuum.
No, it's not. No.
Yes,
We're
that's
not
his model.
talking. No, yeah, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about
That's why he's saying
perpendicularity
it.
between straight lines.
I know, but his model says he can't have a straight line for a horizontal.
I'd let him say that. I don't.
Okay,
I wouldn't like for you to tell us what Blue Marble thinks, because Blue Marble could just
No,
say he doesn't think
much
that.
of a coward to come in here and tell us what he
won't
thinks,
say
so.
it. He won't say it, but it doesn't need you to tell him. He just needs to let everybody know how he can't tell everybody about his new relationship between. So he says here, look, I'm not very bright. Blue Marble, I'm not very bright. I don't have any fantasies, Blue. I don't live in that world of fantasy. Just live in reality. And I know that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. There's no fantasy there. And you haven't destroyed the perpendicular relationship between vertical and horizontal, Blue. It's a mathematical proof. You've just seen it. So Ragaki's just shown you a literal mathematical proof of perpendicularity. A Blue Marble scientist can't just come along and do the farmer's boy thing from in the chat and pretend he's destroyed vertical and horizontal being perpendicular. It's absolutely ridiculous, Blue. It's paid NASA shill talking about perpendiculars being not 90 degrees, not right angles. Get ready, everybody. This is where it gets interesting. When shown geometric proofs that they have to deny, things are going to get really tricky at this point. The straight line. Wait, watch the obfuscation happen now. Blue Marble Science is he's put himself in an untenable position. Can't do anything about it. Except say that you don't understand. Yeah, you're not very bright, Blue. I would say that again. You agree? I would agree with you, Blue. Yes. You are not very bright. You have been led by a group of not very bright people. I mean, let's face it, Blue. They got you to make the video. You're the face of this now. They did a runner. Blue Marble Science has now took up the cause of the non-perpendicular perpendiculars. That's a contradiction, like Saragaki shows, like we were talking about all last night. You can't have perpendicular not being perpendicular whilst being perpendicular. That's diletheism, and it doesn't work within this advanced simplicity. If you're talking about a straight line then you're talking about the relationship of a straight line to another straight line. That's called perpendicular. Vertical, horizontal are perpendicular. Full stop. Nothing more needs to be said. Except by the people that are having to break a geometric proof of perpendicularity. Vertical and horizontal are absolutely perpendicular to each other. I don't know why anybody would think that it isn't, Blue. I don't know why anybody would possibly be imagining that they could argue against vertical and horizontal being perpendicular.
I know. Can I tell them why they would say it's not?
I don't think that they can. Everybody knows that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. How could anybody go against that?
Right? Unless you have a model.
Yeah, but even on a model, you can't undo perpendicularity. It's defined within Euclidean geometry. It's even more well defined than a circle. It's got a better definition than a straight line. I'd say that the perpendicularity and the fact that all right angles are equal goes to show that these lines, to have this perpendicular, have to be straight. There's no way they cannot be straight and have the relationship perpendicular. Perpendicular, to me, proves a straight line. It's not the only way to prove a straight line, but it is a proof of a straight line, because two straight lines are a necessity for you to be able to have the relationship of perpendicular. You cannot have perpendicular without two straight lines. Even if you're a blue marble scientist.
Two straight lines either.
Pardon?
Can't have an angle without two straight lines either.
Well, yeah, same thing, isn't it? All right angles are equal, so those are angles. And that shows that the equality of the angles proves that there are only two straight lines needed to form 4 right angles perpendicular. All of those right angles being equal would show that the necessity of the straight lines is a proof. If we got blue marble scientists reaching aporia and then having to back
Yes, indeed we do.
backtrack. It's amazing how simple logic turns a blue marble scientist into I don't know, moves them into aporia, this place where they're lost. The bridge, they reach their bridge and they crawl underneath it. Fear of going any further. ECV takes hold and they go running. Blue marble's gone missing, probably to work out who's led him into the position of stating an impossibility. Has to be true, I think. Like I say, I won't go over the video for embarrassment's sake, but if Blue Marble does leave the video up, we might go over it just to point out exactly where the flaws have actually taken place. But I mean, I think it's only fair if we give the blue marble scientists a little bit of time to correct any mistakes that they might have had or might have done. Because, like I say, I think blue marble's been pushed into something that he doesn't really understand. And the fact that blue marble science now is seems to be going against geometry will go to show that it's only fair to give blue marble science a chance to get his group of scientists together and well, I don't know, give a statement of why that they were fucking about with geometry. Scientists don't normally mess about with geometry. It's not normally within the realms.
I'd say it has to be something psychological.
Yeah.
Like massive ECV. Can't handle it, so must fuck with it.
Yeah, I was just going to blue marble. I'm just stating that you seem to have come up with a geometric proof that vertical and horizontal are not perpendicular, which I would say is slightly it may be misleading. Maybe I don't know what you would say. How would you say it? I think blue marble science and the blue marble scientists are definitely trying to mislead people around the geometric claims of the blue marble scientists. They seem to be messing with geometry and by extension logic without fully understanding what it is that they're actually doing. Like I say, Blue, I don't want to be going over your video and giving you any more embarrassment. I've just done the advanced simplicity. I do have a video that I think we'll be going over on Thursday. That is over at Gem Pandas. When we went over there talking about a triangle. Which is sort of an extension of this. But this is the perpendiculars at either end of a straight line. Look at Blue begging. Like Blue, it doesn't matter how much you beg, I've said. I'll give you a chance to make any corrections that you think you need to make. Just to be fair, Blue. I mean, I don't want to be going back on something. There may be something that I've said tonight about the perpendicularity between horizontal and vertical that you may have missed within your video. I'm just going to give you a full chance of I don't know. Like, I'd say be willing to give you a week or so to go over it and fix it. Or you could go over with Rumpus, do a live stream and go over with Rumpus to sort it out. Gives you a chance to do a live stream all about it, Blue. You go over that and then we'll have a look at that. If you're scared to come in, if you don't want to be expressing your geometric understanding of how you can rebut perpendicularity of vertical and horizontal. It's only fair, Blue. I might have surprised you with these basic geometric things. I mean, you laid down the terms at the beginning. Straight line. Vertical is definitely a straight line. No, Blue. Listen. I'm giving you a chance to fix anything that you might have made a mistake on. Because I think blue marble science has to be doing something with this relationship of perpendicular between vertical and horizontal. And it is a blue marble scientific experiment. Would you call it an experiment, Blue? That we could lie in the blue marble scientific realm. It's very geometrical. That's why I'm saying I don't know what to make of it. And we, like I say, if you really want us to go over it and point out the logical flaws within the blue marble scientific experiment, that I don't even think you did it, did you, Blue? Were you part of this scientific experiment, or do you want to just make sure that all of the facts are right, that you've got everything understanding? Because we are dealing with geometric proofs, Blue marble science, sorry. I don't want to be speaking to just one person. This is a blue marble scientific consensus, isn't it, Blue?
Could it be that maybe the blue marble scientists are a little bit confused, thinking we're talking about some shape of something?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm talking about the geometric
confusing.
relationship of
I
straight
know
lines. Yeah.
it seems very simple. I mean, this is not very complicated stuff, and stuff. If you've went through geometry, taken any geometry, it's fairly easy. I know it seems advanced. That's why Bev calls it advanced simplicity, but it really is very simple.
And
Maybe they're conflating it with something else, possibly.
See in the chat here. Blue Marble's putting a shout out to any more blue marble scientists. Please, Blue Marble says, come in and press Bev on this geometric understanding of vertical and horizontal. I agree. Come on in. Press me on it. Test me. The relationship of two straight lines. Well, three straight lines, and the perpendicularity of two of them to a similar straight line. Just perpendicular at A and perpendicular at B. The orientation of the line AB horizontal. Very simple. We've shown you geometric proofs. But like Blue Marble says from the chat, everybody come in. Press me on it. Question me. Question anybody else. I mean, this is perpendicular within geometric understanding. Make sure I'm talking about it. Come on in. Please do. Blue Marble requires you to. I don't think he can do it himself. And Rumpus isn't coming in. Is there anybody else in here? Has anybody took the words of Blue Marble Science? No? No. Does any of you guys that are in here wish to press me on perpendicular? The relationship?
Then the nature of perpendicularity? No.
Okay. What about vertical and horizontal being perpendicular? Anybody want to press me on how they know that to be a geometric fact?
Simple geometry.
Okay. Anyone want to press me on the fact that a vertical or a horizontal being straight lines? Is there anything wrong with any of that? Can anybody see? Anyone?
Perpendicular can only exist with straight lines.
Okay. So I think I've covered the perpendicularity of straight lines and the fact that vertical and horizontal are perpendicular quite well. But Blue Marble is rallying his troops. come on in, Blue Marble scientists. I invite you.
Of course, Blue has to say has to call people here a bunch of sheeple.
Sheeple. Yeah, it's because
But
nobody's
I
coming
don't
in
know.
and pressing me.
No, seems to me.
Yeah. Like it's like Blue Marble Science saying, "Come on, Blue Marble scientists, get in there and press Bev," and then going, "Oh, you sheeple, you daren't go in there and press Bev on his perpendicular statements."
Interesting. I wonder if Blue thinks the same thing about the people that are in his live shows and Discord.
Yeah.
If he'd call those people sheeple. I don't see much disagreement with folks like Rumpus and others that are on Bev's or on Blue Marble Science's channel.
Yeah.
It's interesting that only sheeple exist here.
Well, I can't wait until Blue Marble Science does a rebuttal video, letting everybody know, gets the oven mitts on his donkey or whatever. Come on, Gladys, get the oven mitts on. We've got a video to watch. I think that would be great. Rumpus, this is ideal for Rumpus and his pictures. He's the sort of guy that can sort this out. Rumpus, his drawings, get over there. Blue Marble Science. Everybody, after this is finished, which I don't think it'll be too long. I don't want to be going into this too much. Got a bit of personal stuff going on, so I think we will be ending this rather early tonight. Now, this is because go on.
I was going to say, if you want to pack it up early, I'll even go over to Blue Marble Science's YouTube channel to watch.
Is he gone live? I hope he has.
I don't know, but I'll go over there. I might even join. I don't think I'm banned yet, so I might even join the panel.
Yeah, I think Blue Marble's been deleting messages. I think. I don't know whether he's embarrassed by them or whatever, or whether somebody's hiding them for him because they feel embarrassed for him. I don't know. I really don't know how that all works. But I do know the thing about geometric proofs and perpendicularity and the fact that horizontal and vertical are perpendicular. And I understand, not only because Sarigaki gave us the perpendicular proof. There are many proofs that go together to make this, not just one. There's an entire body of geometry that goes to solidify your understanding of the straight line and how the straight line can be used in relation to both itself and other straight lines. And how we communicate those things normally through geometric terms, which Blue Marble laid down for us to start off with at the very beginning. Now we can do this. It's very simple to lay down the understanding of a straight line and the geometric understanding of the perpendicular. And then you can link vertical and horizontal through that perpendicular relationship. Now that relationship through geometry has always been there. It's not just changed. It's been there all the time. I'm just I'm confused as to why now all of a sudden when somebody points out about the perpendicular relationship of straight lines that people are acting like it's something new. The Blue Marble scientists are like, you've discovered something that's sort of strange. But I mean, everybody within mathematics and within geometry, and I suppose by extension logic, You can derive these things very simply. And you'd have to go a long way to try and confuse people about it. Yeah, sometimes Blue and Miss You. YouTube does delete comments if it thinks that they're, I don't know, offensive or whatever. So that may be it. Blue is known to use some strange statements, derogatory statements about people. So it may be that YouTube's just doesn't want any of that. So I don't think I can go over this anymore, and I think for me to go over it anymore may help confuse the issue. We asked Rumpus. Blue YouTube does delete. Does lots of random deletions, yes. Thank you. Are you guys going live? Are you going to go through it? I think you best go and check. Because I think you've violated the relationship of perpendicularity between vertical and horizontal. Blue. I'm pretty sure Rumpus has spotted that as well. It's pretty clear to see that the basic laws of geometry, understanding, logic. Okay. Anyone got any final words or anything that we can go over? Has anybody? Did I miss anything? It's a bit hard to miss out on something just to do with straight lines. I can't believe that I'm here doing a show at the beginning of the year. And we're talking about perpendicularity of two straight lines. Namely, those two straight lines being vertical and horizontal. I've got some new people. Right, I'm sorry to cut it off short tonight, but like I say, got some personal things going on. We will be back tomorrow. It is a hump day. And isn't it strange that the hump day could be a follow-on to Blue Marble Science and the non-perpendicularity of vertical and an extended horizontal. I don't know how to call it. I think we should go over the what we should call the Blue Marble Science thing, and then we might go over it tomorrow. You've got Blue Marble says he's got a YouTube channel 2.5 times the size of mine, and he's only just now finding out that YouTube gets rid of. I don't know. It's very strange, isn't it, Blue? But because of some of the stuff that YouTube doesn't get rid of on yours, it's horrible. But I mean, I don't know about your moderators and how that works. I'd like to thank my moderators. My moderators have done a great job clearing up the chat. It's been great. So, yeah, thank you, mods. And we will strive to go forward to clear out the bullshit of the blue marble scientists, the fallacies within blue marble science. That's where we're going this year. Exposing the contradictions and fallacies of the blue marble scientists. Not just this little group that we know here. There are others. But, I mean, all year, we'll be here exposing blue marble scientific contradictions. I don't think that a scientist should ever go to the realms of geometry and start messing about with geometric understanding. Scientists, blue marble scientists, aren't geometers. That's one of the things you should clearly understand. So, thanks for listening. I hope this has been to everybody's understanding that we've made it as simple as possible. Maybe you may understand why we've left certain parts out. Because those certain parts are hopefully to be put back in by the blue marble scientists. Somebody want to come in?
Yeah, I wanted to put in a request.
Yeah, go on.
You don't understand.
You want a you don't understand to finish off with?
That's all I've heard today.
Oh, I haven't put the new you don't understand in here yet.
Whatever you like. Thanks, man.
No problem. We've got you don't understand Brenda. You don't understand elevations. You don't understand LIGO and the hump. And you don't understand triangles. I think triangles seem to be the order of the day for today.
Yeah, that seems appropriate.
Okay, so I hope this is running, and I do need to do a 2023 clear out and a reordering of my YouTube live show. Hopefully, we might be able to build upon this. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will be back tomorrow, hump day. Hopefully there will be a rebuttal from Blue Marble Science, but I mean, maybe not. Maybe he's going to leave us to explain the impossibilities of his claims. I don't know. Normally be the way. Okay. Thank you. Join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Sorry for the short show. Catch you later.
You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Right, so you've managed to confuse a lot of people within that argument. Weird times, buddy. Because like you weren't trying to say that all horizontals are not parallel because you can draw a cross on a piece of paper.
I was temporarily agreeing.
That wasn't the argument.
For fuck's sake.
Because some people have took it as though that is.
Sorry, a separate discussion. Happy to talk about that one day. What I originally suggested, and Mike knows this, Mike Jones. We agreed we'd sort of discuss the postulate first. You call it the triangle last time.
I do, yeah.
I discussed the swimming pool. Thank you, Mike. Question.
Weird times, buddy.
You don't understand.
Be quiet. Swimming pool. Thank you, Mike. Question.
You don't understand.
For fuck's sake. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Thank you, Mike.
You're just on your own.
Well, that I hold to be a self-evident. You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah. Because it's got just about a triangle, yeah.
The question is, why did include that axiom? You call it the triangle axiom. That postulate.
I do, yeah.
Why did you include that at all? You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, because it sort of shows that triangles have 180 degrees, right? Or some are two right angles.
You know? So you're saying
to 180.
How does it show? Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you can prove that, but why did he include that? You call it the triangle axiom. If you can...
Oh, you can prove it?
Be quiet. If you can prove that triangles have, you call it the triangle axiom. The sum of the angles is 2 right angles. Why would you need, for fuck's sake? Sorry, that's my question. You call it the triangle axiom.
You don't understand.
You call it the triangle axiom.
You don't understand.
I was temporarily agreeing. Be quiet.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
You know?
You're just on your own.
For fuck's sake. I'm sorry. Horizontal lines can easily not be. Just as I suggested, you just sort of get a horizontal line. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. You put 2 crossing lines on them, and by definition, any 2 lines, straight lines on a horizontal plane, are themselves horizontal. You know? Though. That's the problem. You can't. Well, it's not really a problem. Yeah,
it's not a problem because there's only 3 straight lines. How fucking difficult can it be?
Point again is that you cannot prove it. A lot of people, you call it the triangle centuries, millennia, thought you could prove the 5th postulate. You call it the triangle axiom. The question is, do we need the enclosure axiom? Yeah, not on the globe hypothesis. I received opinions we don't need it because postulate 1 will do the job for you. And look, Bev, I simply wanted to ask you why you think the postulate's there, and you have explained that. And you have explained that. Not on the globe hypothesis. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. I'm sorry.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Be quiet.
You're just on your own.
I'll be perfectly honest. I'm sure there are better people back at the other place, the blue place, who can prove this. And we're happy to talk to you.
No logic, no wisdom, no worries.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
You know.
No reason, no logic, no answers to questions.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
You know. That I hold to be a self-evident.
It's a self-evident truth of reality that all triangles, in reality, have 180 or the sum of 2 right angles.
Be quiet. Not on the globe. Well, it's an assumption.
It's not an assumption, is it?
Sorry. For Euclid, it was an assumption because he knew he could prove it. There was a huge debate which went on for centuries. You call it the triangle axiom.
What, that he couldn't prove that triangles have 180
They tried.
degrees?
They thought there was a question: is the 5th postulate? You call it the triangle axiom. Triangle axiom. Is it self-evident or not? Huge debate.
Weird times, Betty.
You know.
Weird times, Betty. You've brought an argument into a group of people that aren't ready for it.
Be quiet. You cannot. Euclidean geometry. You call it the triangle axiom. It does not follow. It doesn't work. Not on the globe. I don't need it as an assumption because we can prove it. You can prove it from the 1st postulate. For fuck's sake. Horizontal lines can easily not be. You can just, as I suggested, you just sort of get a horizontal plane, right? You know, you put 2 crossing lines on them, and by definition, any 2 lines, straight lines on a horizontal plane, are themselves horizontal. For fuck's sake, I'm sorry.
You don't understand.
Well, that I hold to be a self-evident truth. For fuck's
You
sake.
don't understand.
If you could prove it, it wouldn't be a postulate,
It's
would it?
not my problem if you don't want to learn. You're just on your own.
You call it the triangle axiom.
I do, yeah. Because he's got just about a triangle, yeah.
The question is, why did Euclid include that axiom? You call it the triangle, that postulate or axiom. Why did you include that at all? You know?
Because it sort of shows that triangles have 180 degrees, right? Or the sum of 2 right angles.
Not on the globe.
So
You're saying, for fuck's sake. How does it show? Well, yeah, it does. I mean, you can prove that. But why did he include that? Be quiet. If you can.
Oh, you can prove it.
You call it the triangle axiom. If you can prove that triangles have the sum of the angles is 2 right angles, why would you need postulate? That's my question. I will not verbally disagree with it. What goes on in my own head is my own business. I do not believe that. Be quiet.
You don't understand.
You call it the triangle axiom. For fuck's sake, I'm sorry.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn. You're just on your own.
Yourself, don't tell me to be quiet.
You have a horizontal plane, And any straight line
Not
drawn
on the globe
must itself be horizontal. That I hold to be a self-evident truth. Yeah, not on the globe hypothesis. I was temporarily agreeing.
Right, so you've managed to confuse a lot of people within that argument.
I was temporarily agreeing.
Because like you weren't trying to say that all horizontals are not parallel because you can draw
not on the
cross
globe
on a piece of paper, are you?
You know?
That wasn't the argument.
Not on the globe.
Because some people have took it as though that is.
For fuck's sake. Separate discussion. Happy to talk about that one day.
Yourself, don't tell me to be quiet.
Point again is that you cannot prove it. A lot of people, you call it the triangle axiom. Centuries, millennia, thought you could prove the fifth postulate. You call it the triangle axiom from the preceding thought. Be quiet. I was temporarily agreeing. Not on the globe hypothesis. You call it the triangle axiom. Not on the globe hypothesis.
It's not my problem if you don't want to learn.
Be quiet.
Just on your own.
That I hold to be a self-evident truth. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm sorry.
No reason, no logic, no wisdom, no worries.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
Not on the globe, you know.
No reason, no logic, no answers to question.
And you have explained that.
You're just on your own.
Betty, do you believe the water surface is a horizontal plane of reference?
It's a horizontal plane, possibly. Yeah. Not on the globe. Let's assume
Thank you.
the surface of either swimming pool is a horizontal establishes a horizontal plane of reference, right? Let's assume
Thank you.
the surface of either swimming pool establishes a horizontal plane of reference, right? It's not really a problem. Yeah,
It's
all
not
they
a
say
problem
is-
because there's only 3 straight lines. How fucking difficult can it be?